Welcome to This Is How We Heal with naturopath, herbalist and author Anthea Koulouros. With over 3 decades of clinical experience guiding thousands on their healing journeys, Anthea invites you into honest, heartfelt conversations about what really gets in the way of health and healing and what gently brings us back to ourselves. If you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, overwhelmed by wellness noise, or just yearning to feel like yourself again, you're in the right place. This podcast is for anyone feeling burnt out, lost in a sea of symptoms, or simply longing for a deeper connection to their health, their body, and their truth.
Hello and welcome. I'm Anthea Koulouros, and this is How We Heal, a space where we pause, reflect, and look beneath the surface of our symptoms to find deeper pathways back to health. If you've ever found yourself bloated after meals, dragging yourself throughout the day with low energy, or quietly enduring that dull discomfort in your gut, you're not alone. Many of us carry these signs as if they're normal, when really they're invitations, messages from the body, clues that something about our digestion needs tending to. Today, we're exploring poor digestion, not just what we eat, but how we eat. Because healing digestion isn't about endless restrictive diets or chasing that next superfood. It begins with awareness, presence, and the simple rituals that bring us back into relationship with our food and our bodies. So take a breath with me, land in this moment, and let's begin. We often dismiss bloating, sluggishness, or heaviness as just part of modern life. We normalize it. Everyone gets bloated after a big meal, or that 3 p.m. slump is just because I didn't sleep enough. But here's the truth. When digestion is compromised, it's not only the gut that suffers. Every system in the body is affected, from our energy, our mood, our hormones, and even our skin. Think of digestion as the first step in the chain of nourishment. If that step is incomplete, if food isn't broken down properly, it creates a ripple effect. Nutrients aren't absorbed, the gut lining becomes inflamed, the microbiome shifts, and toxins accumulate. And over time, what began as just a bit of bloating may become fatigue, hormone imbalances, skin issues, autoimmune conditions, and chronic disease. Now, I don't say this to alarm you, but to highlight something important. Digestion is not a minor function. It's central. It's where health begins. We live in a culture obsessed with what we eat. Is it organic, keto, paleo, vegan, high protein, plant-based? And yes, food quality matters deeply, but here's what we've forgotten. How we eat shapes the way our bodies process that food. Think about your own habits for a moment. Do you rush through meals, eat standing up or in the car, scroll on your phone, answer emails, or watch TV while chewing, drink large amounts of water or juice with your meals, or eat when you're anxious, overwhelmed, or exhausted? Each of these habits may seem small, but together they set the stage for poor digestion. Why? Because digestion isn't just a mechanical process, it's a state of being. Our digestive system is regulated by the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as the rest and digest branch of our nervous system. When we're stressed, rushed, or distracted, our body shifts into fight or flight mode. Blood moves away from the gut towards the muscles to fight or flight. Stomach acid production drops, enzyme secretion slows down, and motility changes. So the meal you just ate, no matter how healthy, isn't being broken down efficiently. And instead of feeling nourished, you're left feeling bloated, sluggish, or uncomfortable. When a patient comes into my clinic with digestive complaints, whether it be bloating, sluggish bowels, reflux, or that uncomfortable fullness that lingers after meals, I never stop at the symptom. I always ask, what's the root cause? So here are the most common causes I see and why they matter so much. Number one is low stomach acid, and perhaps the most misunderstood cause. So many people are prescribed acid-blocking medications for reflux, also known as antacids, when in fact the underlying issue is often too little acid, not too much. Stomach acid doesn't just digest food. It helps us absorb minerals like iron and calcium, breaks down proteins, and prevents harmful microbes from entering the gut from the foods we eat and those found in our mouth and upper respiratory tract. Without it, acid that is, food lingers, ferments, and pushes upward, causing the very reflux we're trying to suppress. The focus should be on the right amount of acid. Number two, enzyme and bile deficiency. Our pancreas secretes enzymes to break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Our gallbladder secretes bile in response to fats. If enzyme and bile output is low, whether it be due to age, nutrient deficiencies, stress, medication, or you've had your gallbladder removed, food sits heavy. Gas, bloating, and malabsorption follow. It's like trying to play an orchestra without a conductor. Everything feels out of sync. Number three, stress. Digestion is a rest and digest process, the counterbalance to fight-flight response. In acute stress, we activate that part of your nervous system which stimulates the vagus nerve and increases gastric acid secretion. That's why short-term stress is linked to symptoms like acid reflux, heartburn, or gastritis flare-ups. But chronic, prolonged stress keeps the body in a sympathetic dominance and suppresses the rest and digest response, which is required for optimal stomach acid secretion. Over time, this leads to low stomach acid, impairing digestion, nutrient absorption, and increasing the risk of microbial dysbiosis and infections such as Helicobacter pylori. Low stomach acid is often missed clinically because its symptoms, bloating, reflux, indigestion, can mimic high acid. So you can eat the cleanest meal, but if you eat in stress, your body won't receive it. Number four, inflammation. From processed foods, medications, infections, or food intolerances. Inflammation damages the gut lining, impairs absorption, and can lead to leaky gut. Leaky gut is a condition where the lining of the small intestine becomes overly permeable, allowing toxins, microbes, and undigested food particles to leak into the bloodstream and trigger inflammation. Symptoms ripple outward: joint pain, fatigue, rashes, brain fog, sometimes far from the gut itself. Number five, microbial imbalance. The gut microbiome thrives on diversity. When beneficial microbes are depleted through antibiotics, stress, or diets low in plants, opportunistic ones take over. Gas, bloating, irregular bowels, food sensitivities or intolerances, and immune disruption follow. The gut is like a garden. Neglect the flowers and the weeds will thrive. Rarely does one cause exist in isolation. Chronic stress leads to low stomach acid, which leads to microbial imbalance, which leads to inflammation. Healing is about gently unraveling that web, layer by layer, until the body can return to balance. So before supplements or restrictive plans, I start with something profoundly simple, and I call it the digestive pause. Digestion isn't just chemical, it's a sensory experience. It begins with smell, sight, touch, sound, taste, and anticipation. The sizzle of food in the pan, the aroma of herbs, the colors on the plate, these cues trigger the cephalic phase of digestion. Saliva flows, acid and enzymes are released, and the body prepares to receive food. When we rush, eat distracted, or numb ourselves with screens, we bypass this phase, and digestion never gets the signal to begin. A simple rhythm I teach in my clinic is the 15-30-15-minute rule. 15 minutes before eating, 30 minutes of eating, followed by 15 minutes after eating. 15 minutes before eating. This shifts the gear from stress into calm. We move from fight, flight to rest and digest. Now we can do this by simply taking some herbal digestive bitters, the ones that are best prescribed by your naturopath or herbalist. Now just a few drops will awaken bitter receptors, not just in the mouth, but throughout the gut, priming acid, priming enzymes and bile, creating that lovely rest and digest state. Sitting down properly with good posture, laying out your meal and offer some gratitude is also a ritual that helps you move into that rest and digest state. Let's talk about bitters, because bitterness is the long forgotten taste and why it's so important for digestion. Our modern diets are dominated by sweet, salty, and savory. Processed foods are engineered to overstimulate these flavors, while bitterness has been stripped away. Yet for centuries, bitterness was essential. Bitter foods like rocket leaf, radicchio, endive, chicory, dandelion, grapefruit peel or lemon zest, and bitter melons were staples. They toned digestion, they regulated appetite, and stimulated bile. Just thinking about eating these foods starts stimulating saliva in my mouth. Herbal bitters, as the ones we just mentioned, gentian, wormwood, artichoke leaf, dandelion, orange peel, were prescribed by herbalists and naturopaths to prime digestion before meals. And cultural rituals preserved this wisdom. In Europe, the aperitif, a small bitter drink before eating, prepared the gut. The digestive afterwards helps settle and complete the digestive process. When we removed bitterness from our plates, we silenced one of the body's most important digestive signals. Bitters are not harsh. They are medicine. They are the body's way of saying, prepare, food is coming. When I reintroduce bitters to patients, whether through herbal tinctures, digestive bitter tonics, or simple foods like rocket and dandelion, they often notice relief within days, less bloating, better appetite, and improved elimination. Bitterness restores balance to a palate that has forgotten its diversity. Then, after 15 minutes before eating, we move into 30 minutes of eating. We want to eat slowly. We want to savor the sensory experience. We want to smell the food and taste the food and chew it thoroughly until liquid before we put the next mouthful in. We want to put our fork down so we can slow down, and we want to protect meal time from screens and stress. And finally, we follow with 15 minutes after eating, which I simply recommend, apart from a cleanup of dishes, go for a gentle walk. This supports motility, balances blood sugar level, and reduces bloating. Why does this work? Because digestion is not designed to happen under pressure. It belongs to a state of calm, ritual, and sensory presence. When we slow down, when we reclaim bitterness, when we engage all of our senses, we transform not just digestion, but our relationship with food itself. When digestion improves, everything improves, from energy, mood, hormones, skin, and sleep. Because digestion isn't isolated, it's the foundation of the body's rhythm of nourishment, repair, and renewal. This is why I always remind my patients, healing doesn't begin with restriction, it begins with awareness. So as you go about your week, notice, how am I eating? Am I rushing, distracted, or am I creating space to truly receive my food? What is one simple way I can bring more presence and ritual into my next meal, before, during, or after eating? Write it down, let it guide you. Healing doesn't begin with big overhauls, it begins with one mindful act at a time. Start with awareness, begin with one meal a day, bring yourself fully to the table, breathe, chew, taste. Trust that these small acts matter because they really do. Now, please note, while this information offers valuable insights and support, it's not a substitute for professional guidance. If you're experiencing persistent digestive issues, consider consulting a qualified practitioner such as your naturopath or healthcare practitioner who can work with your unique needs. And if today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might be struggling with their digestion. And if you'd like support in healing your gut, come see me at my naturopathic clinic or join our Staying Healthy Together club. Here you'll find links in the show notes. And until next time, eat slowly, eat wisely, and eat with love.
If this episode spoke to you, your healing journey doesn't have to end here. Join Anthea in her dedicated online community, the Staying Healthy Together Club, a space for real conversations and holistic health education with trusted resources. We'd love to see you there.